How dollar became a global currency. If you have done at least one international transaction in your lifetime, then you will know that international transactions can happen only in one currency, which is a dollar. And also, while calculating the valuation of any country's economy, one thing is considered: how much dollar is available in the country's foreign reserve. It's also true that some transactions are done in euros and yen, but still, 90% of the transactions are done in dollars. So the question is, how did the dollar become so dominant and important? History of the dollar. The first United States dollar notes were published as demand notes to fund the Civil War of 1861. The notes were known as greenbacks because of their green color. The legal tender, called the United States notes, was first published in 1862, and a standardized system for printing the notes was first developed in 1869. Since the founding of the Federal Reserve System in 1913 as the central bank of the United States, the dollar has been primarily issued in the form of Federal Reserve notes. The United States dollar is the world's primary reserve currency, held by governments worldwide for use in international trade. The currencies currently printed are $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100. In 1946, the printing of notes higher than $100 was stopped, and their circulation was formally stopped in 1969. What is the gold standard? The gold standard is a monetary system where a country's currency or paper money has a value directly linked to gold. With the gold standard, countries agreed to convert paper money into a fixed amount of gold. A country that uses the gold standard sets a fixed price for gold and buys and sells gold at that price. That fixed price is used to determine the value of the currency. The gold standard is not currently used by any government. Britain stopped using the gold standard in 1931, and the US followed suit in 1933, finally abandoning the remnants of the system in 1973. The Bretton Woods Agreement. The story dates back to 1944. It was the time when World War I was running at the end, but also because of this war, the whole world was destroyed. Now the question for the whole world was how to redevelopment of destroyed countries. To get the answer to this question, a meeting was arranged in America in 1944, in which 730 delegates from 44 allied nations participated, and the meeting was known as the Bretton Woods Conference. Also, the International Monetary Fund and World Bank creating decision was made in this meeting. At the time of this meeting, America was not only the country that was the least harmed by the war, but also it was in the best economical condition, and also the dollar was the only currency that was more reliable. That's why, with the support of Britain, the dollar was supported for the transaction of the World Bank and was made compulsory. America promised that it will not only limitedly print the dollar, but also it can exchange the dollar with gold at the rate of $35 per ounce. One thing we should know is that at that time and currently, the U.S. had the most gold reserves, which is 8,133 tons. That's why this vast amount of exchange only America could do at that time. After that, dollar is also used for international tax. The two major accomplishments of the Bretton Woods Conference were the creation of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, commonly known as the World Bank. Vietnam War effect. By the early 1960s, the US dollar's fixed value against gold, under the Bretton Woods system of fixed exchange rates, was seen as overvalued. A sizable increase in domestic spending on President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society programs and a rise in military spending caused by the Vietnam War gradually worsened the overvaluation of the dollar. But after the Vietnam War, the whole world got to know that America was not only printing the dollar in their way, it also refused to allow audits for the Federal Reserve to other countries. After that, American dollars started declining. Not only this, when France demanded their gold back in 1971, American President Richard Nixon refused to give it back, but also suspended the Bretton Woods Conference. After that, American dollar became invaluable to the whole world. Born of petrodollar. At that time, not all other countries had dollars in their forex reserve, but also Russia and China have nuclear weapons. In any condition, the USA has to return to other countries their assets. The Nixon administration understood that the collapse of the gold standard system would cause a decline in the global demand for the US dollar. Maintaining demand for the US dollar was vital for the United States economy. So the United States under Nixon struck a deal in 1973 with Saudi Arabia. At that time, Saudi Arabia had the world's biggest oil reserve. So President Richard Nixon went to Saudi Arabia to play his masterstroke. Under the terms of the deal, the Saudis would agree to price all of their oil exports in US dollars exclusively and be open to investing their surplus oil proceeds in US debt securities. In return, the United States offered weapons and protection of Saudi oil fields from neighboring countries including Israel. This offer was given to all other OPEC nations. This was the time when all Arab countries lost in war with Israel, so all countries agreed, and that's how the petrodollar watch was born. For the Americans, the petrodollar increases demand for the dollar and also for US debt securities, and allows the US to buy oil with a currency it can print at will. In 1975, all of the OPEC nations agreed to follow suit. Maintaining the petrodollar is America's primary goal, and during that time, remaining other countries have dollars in their forex reserve so they can trade oil with a dollar. And after this dollar again became valuable, and the USA kept all the gold.